Hey everyone, this is Durtank coming at you with,
DJFunk.
and this is our first episode of DeFi D&D. So, welcome to the party, everyone. DJ Funk and I are going to be talking to you each week about all sorts of different DeFi things. So, we hope to bring you the latest content from multi-chain DeFi. We will probably focus mostly on EVM chains, but we'll be talking about some how-tos, deep dive on our favorite projects. DJ Funk is a master in the NFT space, so he'll be bringing you some of that content. And then, of course, we'll be talking about everyone's favorite game, DeFi Kingdoms, specifically the Jewel token. Before we get started, the obligatory this is not financial advice. Please do your own research. We are just two guys on the internet talking about things that we like and are personally invested in. This is not something that you should take seriously. It's for entertainment purposes only. With that said, DJ Funk, why don't you kick us off and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into crypto?
So I got into crypto back in 2017, right before the run up. Bought a little bit of Litecoin, and then I didn't sell any. I just held through that. And then we had the big bear market. Then a couple years ago, I got into DeFi on Ethereum, invested a little bit into Hex, did well with that. Also invested in a few other random shit coins. Lost a bunch of money, but stuck with it, still kept investing. And now here I am.
I think that was a little light. You said you were just into Litecoin. I have a question for you. 2017, you saw everything pop off and you decided, yep, Litecoin. The I think they were calling it the Bitcoin testnet at the time.
Yeah,
That was your baby.
that was my play then. Charlie Lee, the true savior.
Didn't he dump the top back in 2017?
He did. He told us to watch out for the bear market. It could happen. And it did. He's a prophet.
That is some crypto shit. Your leader dumps on you at the top, and the opinion is still he's a prophet. Uh, so when did you realize Litecoin is not the way?
Actually, it was talking to you about what you were investing in, and you were more active with your trading, where I was just doing the passive, just holding strategy. And it got me more interested in trading. And then on Ethereum with DeFi, I used to watch, random DeFi videos. What about you? What got you into crypto?
So I also got in probably mid 2017. I did all of the wrong trader things that everyone tells you not to do. I bought Bitcoin, Ethereum, then went way further out on the risk curve, while making money, sort of realized that like if I had just on day one bought and held Bitcoin and ETH, would have been up multiples of what I was doing by trading. Started to refine my strategy, teach myself more, got wrecked in the bear market leading into 2018. But like everyone says, it's about surviving and learning and coming back strong in sort of the mini run-ups we saw in 2019 and then you know the last 2 years have just been sort of insane. So I'm definitely more of a technical analysis trader. And what you guys our listeners will start to learn is that my risk appetite and DJ Funk's risk appetite are in different planets, like different solar systems, maybe. DJ Funk has taken losses and gains bigger than I like ever have expected. But we'll I think you'll start to see that you're going to get far more the conservative approach on my end of things. But yeah, if you guys want to hear more about our history or a little bit more about specific projects we were in early, please leave us a comment and let us know what you guys are interested in hearing. So we thought for our first episode, we'd talk real briefly about our overall view of the market, and then we could talk about some of the chains we're farming on that we're big on right now, and then we'll keep it relatively short today. So DJ Funk, bullish, bearish, somewhere in between?
Somewhere in between, but I'm mostly bullish still long term. I think we're sort of in like an extended cycle. I could be wrong though, but I don't think it's over yet. And I'm super bullish on DeFi kingdoms. Currently, I'm farming Jewel in one, Jewel in Bitcoin, Jewel and Ethereum. So those farms are doing pretty well. And I'm not like daily compounding right now. I'm just waiting to claim. And then also I'm minting on Solarbots. So I've invested in the Solarbots mint. So yeah.
So for a listener, you might be asking, Jewel, DeFi Kingdom, Solarbots, what are these things? Where can I find them? We'll jump in on more detail about the projects in subsequent episodes, but DeFi Kingdoms is a game on Harmony Network, so a little difficult to get there. We could talk about some of the different bridges, and then Solarbots is on ETH, right, DJ
Yeah.
Funk?
Yeah.
And that mint's going on right now, right?
Yeah, the whitelist mint is today. I was lucky enough to get on the whitelist, and then also the public mint is on the 22nd. So right now, I just looked at the stats on Ethereum, the gas tracker. Solarbots is number 4 for gas fees. So a lot of people are investing in it today.
How many?
Even though it's the whitelist, which it should have lower gas fees.
How many are you going to try to mint today?
I'm gonna try and mint as many as I can.
Can I ask what are the gas fees per transaction you're paying right now?
Well, the last transaction I did was an ETH and a half, pretty much. So
Is that with the cost to mint?
no, that's separate from the cost to mint.
So, so you're paying, just so we're getting it right, based on the current prices of ETH, a little over $5,000 just to mint in fees.
Just to mint. And I'm still waiting. It doesn't even mint right away.
All right. So for the listeners out there, use that as some context. If you're like, oh, this is on ETH, but I'm just going to do a few transactions. It's still not that simple. These fees are insane right now. So you obviously have neutral to bullish outlook on the market. I think I'm going to have a very, very different take here. I'm going to share the chart for a second. I know the big thing right now is to sort of say like we are in some sort of consolidation zone, but like I am seeing just super clear downtrend. Like I don't know what everybody's talking about, but like we could look at our highs up here in the high 60s, and we've just been headed straight down. Even down here, when we're consolidating, people are drawing this like a falling wedge, but all I'm seeing is high, lower high, lower low, lower high, and a final lower low. Like maybe today, if you zoom in and you say, let's look at the 4-hour, are we starting to paint some sort of maybe double bottom, some sort of like real wavy line down with some slight bullish divergence? But until we see a stronger higher high with a higher low, I think Bitcoin, we're in a overall downtrend, certainly on the higher time frames, and we're just in like perfect bear structure right now. I don't know why we would think that we're in anything but that. Yeah, similarly on ETH does look better, but not by a whole lot. I think the big thing to know about these wicks is that when you have price action that like wicks down, got flushed out with a high open interest wipe. These were like forced sells, like leverage traders who had to sell below these prices. Usually you'll trade back down by the bottom of the wick. We'll each come down and tap it again. So targets for 3,500 for ETH feel real reasonable. And then there on Bitcoin, I think we're looking at 42 to 40. And I'm not going to feel comfortable opening up strong longs until we get there. Until then, I'm sitting in mostly try crypto. and stablecoins, farm stables. So I've been getting the best rates on Phantom for my stables. So that's where I've been spending a lot of my time. With that said, we just had the Grim Finance hack, and that scared the crap out of me. I did have quite a lot of funds on Grim. Luckily, the vaults I was in weren't targeted. And I was able to get my funds out, but I didn't do anything special. I just wasn't part of the group that got hacked. It could have easily been me. And we could probably dedicate a whole episode into avoiding hacks, what to look for. The contracts were audited. The way the hack happened, the audit had passed that piece of reentry. So it was a reentry issue. And I mean, there'll be people who talk more details about the hack, but it was 30 plus million bucks. Really sort of scared a lot of folks who are on that Phantom chain. I know I've been shifting a little more towards Matic. The chart looks a little better. And I think that's where we'll start to see better rates, but mostly on Avalanche, Matic, Phantom, and then our baby DeFi Kingdoms is really taking us to the promised land.
Yeah. How scared were you when the hack happened? That's got to be pretty tough.
I was shitting my pants. It's sort of unclear. Like, so in the Discord, the dev says nothing. They're like, there's a hack going on, and you're reading it, and you're like, what are you doing? And then finally, they say like, we're pausing funds because everyone's trying to withdraw, right? Fees on Phantom spike massively, right? And then the dev just starts tweeting out, withdraw funds if you can. We've turned up the gas on some where we think there would be a hack. So like in one of my pools, I simply couldn't withdraw. It didn't matter how much I turned the gas up to. And then they said, we're going to, the hack still exists and there might be queued transactions by the hacker. So we're going to unlock the vaults one at a time, withdraw your funds ASAP. And like, I work in, traditional banking, and like, just for something to be handled like this, where you have to hang it at the computer, just hit refresh, see if your vault's unlocking, trying to get your funds out, like just an absurd experience. And it's not the dev's fault, right? Like they were doing their best from everything that it seems to try to figure it out. It was scary, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, those are the real risks in DeFi that a lot of people forget about. And you always kind of have to keep that in the back of your mind, because if you don't, right, you're overinvested, you can put yourself in a really bad position.
Yeah. Luckily I'm diversified such that if I get hacked on any one given site or platform, it's not going to change my overall outlook, position, affect my life in any sort of way. But reading through the Discord, for some people, this was their life savings. Then, they're saying some dark stuff on there, making both threats and threatening to hurt themselves.
Yeah.
It was not, I needed to step away for a little while.
Yeah.
But things are good now. We did not mean to kick off the first episode with such a dramatic, bearish outlook. But let's talk about something a little bullish here. I'm gonna screen share again. So our baby, and hopefully a lot of our listeners will be into Jewel. Jewel is the token for DeFi Kingdoms. DeFi Kingdoms is GameFi, part of the Metaverse. It's really checking a lot of the hot boxes right now. And the price of this inflationary token, and I'm talking, this thing is hyperinflationary, but it does have some interesting mechanics with the lockup period. The tokenomics are wild, but just broke a new all-time high, sitting above 1050, came back, tapped sort of that horizontal that is the that all-time high, and just boom, bounced off of that, and is now headed back up into the $12. I'm in shock and disbelief. They also, I don't know if you caught this, added to, in your locked Jewel, if you hover over that number, it will now display the USD value, which is sort of like a really sickening.
I mean, bears get wrecked. I mean, just keep selling. It'll keep going up, I think.
I sold somewhere down in here. We were just chopping sideways. Bitcoin looked awful. I was like, I got to get out of some of this. DJFunk makes the joke like, great, I sold, now it can go up again. And boy, was he right. Man, oh man. Just the past few days on this have been crazy. I mean, it looks more absurd if you start to track it on the daily. It looks like just straight up.
Yeah.
Even this, God, if this day closes green after a giant wick down like this might be, I don't know, off the highs. Fell 14% in the day. And if it just retraces all of that and closes green, what a strong signal. God, you'll look so good.
Yeah. And I mean, one's been recovering some more today too. I had a friend text me about it. He was like, "Oh, I'm concerned. One is pumping, but the rest of the market isn't really following." And I'm like, "Well, one kind of bottomed out a little bit more when everything else was bottoming." So, I mean, to me, it seemed a little bit more of a natural recovery.
I mean, it's surprising. We could look at some comparables. So here, if we pull up the chart, Harmony Chain, one is where Jules played, and one has just had a really, really nice recovery. One is about a $2.5 million market cap. I think the most comparable L1 is really Phantom. And if you look at Phantom has not had that rounded bottom recovery. The chart looks real similar. It has this sort of rounded top, been taking a big tumble, about 50% off the highs here. For Phantom, one really is only down about 30%, and then one started to form nice rounded bottom where Phantom just looks like it's sort of, we're creating a wedge shape here that I'm not sure if this will play out well. Usually these things get pushed down, so I would look for a break of the horizontal above that. But like, you look at this Phantom chart, and you say it's a similar market cap, it's an L1. In fact, the Phantom ecosystem has way more baked out on it. Like, really, what one has going forward is Jewel. And you look at the one chart. Oh, we're on 5-bit here. Sorry, guys. This looks like a different chart, right? I mean, it went through its downtrend. It maybe saw that it was going to create this same pennant at the bottom, but instead just shot right through it. And for the past few days, it's been continuing up dramatically. We're coming into some underside resistance here, but I would much rather own one, Matic, anything like that than Phantom right now. Phantom's not looking hot.
Yeah, does not look good for Phantom.
We'll make DeFi Kingdoms the focus of our next episode. So everyone try to tune back in and listen to that. If you like the content, please subscribe, hit the like button, leave us a comment letting us know what kind of content you want to hear in the future. Until then, stay safe out there.